Hello, I am Dr. Farshad Amini Behbani and this is short course of Iranian traditional medicine. In this section we discuss about sleep and wakefulness as one of the 6 essentials. Sleep and wakefulness is one of those essentials that their manipulation is easy. We can easily correct the sleep pattern of patient or person as a healthy person to prevent becoming disease and to maintaining the health. There are 2 mechanisms for sleeping in Iranian traditional medicine. Sometimes both of these 2 mechanisms work together, especially in the sleep at the night. The first mechanism is dissolving of spirit and trying to compensation of lost spirit. By awaking and activities like speaking, like walking, running, or thinking even, and by touching environment, by suffering from work, by feeling pain, spirit is dissolved and some part of spirit will be lost. The heart tries to compensate this lost part of spirit, but in long time the production of spirit in the heart is not enough to compensation of the spirit. As the living of the chief and essential organs is more important than the other organs, by lasting some spirit, the nature try to save the main and essential organs, I mean the liver, the heart, and the brain. So the spirit immigrate from the periphery of the body toward the center of the body to save these essential organs. By immigration of spirit, we have lackness of spirit in the periphery, so the senses will be shut down. By shut down the sense, a situation will happen that we called it sleep. In the sleep we are calm, without touching environment, without feeling pain, without activity, so the heart have enough time to compensate the lost spirit. By complete compensation of the spirit, we have enough spirit for covering the periphery of the body and the main organs also together. And by beginning of daylight, I mean not the visual spectrum only, the all spectrum of daylight, because that spirit is a luminous creature, and like the luminous object and like the light, especially daylight or every light with full spectrum like sunlight, awakening will happen. Spirit comes from the central toward the peripheral. By this immigration toward the body, stage 1 and stage 2 of digestion in the stomach and in the liver have enough warmness and innate heat to well done digestion. So a considerable amount of humors, especially sanguine humors that are wet, will happen, so the body become wet in temperament. We tell that by producing enough sanguine humor, the temperament of the body become warm and wet by enough sleeping. By wakening up and immigration of the spirit toward the peripheral, the third and fourth stage of digestion in the vessels and in the organs will done better because they have enough innate heat. So by doing a better digestion in the stage 4 digestion, the waste material will dispose and a good color of face because of absorption of sanguine humor will happen by enough sleeping at the time and waking in the time, in proper time. We have good color of face, we have good strength of body because of enough production of humors and also spirit in the heart and in the liver, and we can continue our daytime activities. Because of this mechanism, daytime sleep is not recommended in Iranian traditional medicine except 2 times. A little sleep around 15 to 20 minutes in the noon for compensation of lost spirit in the morning, and 1 to 2 hour sleep after the sunrise in the summer because of shortness of night in the summer and because we have not enough time and darkness for sleeping, enough amount of sleeping. Besides these 2 exceptions, sleep in the daytime is not recommended in Iranian traditional medicine, especially right before sunrise and right before sunset to 1 hour after sunset. In these times, the sleep is absolutely forbidden in Iranian traditional medicine. Even we called the sleep before sunset the misery sleep. We believe that a misery will happen for the person. We know in modern medicine that most of the heart attacks happened in these 2 times, before sunrise and before sunset. And it is better that person be awake in these 2 times. The proper time for going to bed is 1 to 2 hours after mealing or dinner and 1 hour at least after the sunset. There is another mechanism for sleeping in Iranian traditional medicine, and that's the wetness of the brain. This wetness can produced by wet vapors from inside of the body. For example, the wet vapor from the food in a full belly or full stomach. We called it the vapor of digestion, or we called it vapor of stomach. That wet go toward up and wet the brain. It could be wetness because of extra sanguine or extra phlegm humor. It could be wetness because of presence of wet humor in the brain, extra wet humor in the brain. If a person have this temperament, material or humoral distemperament in the brain, especially phlegmatic or sanguine, the sleeping is a consequence. Of course, it is not a natural sleeping. And wetness could be from the vapor of pus in the fever. If you notice, some of the patients with fever are sleepy, and of course, in contrast, some of patients in fever could not sleep because in those fever, the vapor are dry. If there is a pus in the body, the vapor will be wet and patient will be sleepy. And of course, this wetness could be from the environment. When you immigrate from a dry area to a wet climate area, you feel sleepy. If you going to a wet and warm sauna, you feel sleepy. If you take a long bath, you feel sleepy, of course, because of dissolving of spirit and some because of wetness of the body. At the night after the main meal, I mean dinner, the vapor is another cause of sleepy. We believe that this wetness or this vapor lose the walls of channels of psychic spirit, and by collapsing these channels, the flow of psychic spirit will be difficult, so the senses will be shut down because of semi-obstruction of the channels, I mean the nerves and the main canals of the brain. Sleeping in the night have some condition. It should be continuous without disrupting. It should be deep, and it should be moderate at its amount based on intrinsic temperament of the person. A person with wet and cold intrinsic temperament is most needy person to sleep. This person may be asleep until 10 hours in a 24 day. But a person with dry and warm intrinsic temperament has less need to sleep to refresh. This person could sleep only 6 hours in a 24 hour day and become fresh. More than 10 hours or less than 6 hours is considered a sick sleep. Less than 6 hours dry the body and the brain and is not good, especially in elderly, and even a young person, if can tolerate the sleep less than 6 hours, in the elderly, this young person will be damaged. And more than 10 hours make body cold, and it's not good for the color of face, for the digestion, I mean the third and fourth digestion. Splenomegaly is a consequence, especially if you have daytime sleeping. But remember that for those who have night shifts, sleeping in the daytime is a must and should not be forbidden. They need to immediately compensate their loss of spirit at the night shift. We help the nature of these persons by prescribing a nutritional, fine, well-chymous foods with easy digestion. We help their digestion to be done easily to compensate their loss of spirit. Yolk, semi-cooked yolk is a good, or fine meats is good prescription for these peoples.